Okay, I'm live. Surprise, surprise. A little early. Sorry, I didn't mean to surprise y'all there. I mean, I can hear that stuff is coming out. Sorry, ads. I won't forget. Let me just make sure. Okay, sorry. I like to do a sound check. I'm sorry y'all have to hear it, but I like to do a sound check. Hello, Cornbread. Thank you for... Wait, did I send it? Yes, I did. Right after I did it. Oh... Hello, Ramsey the Artist, Zodberg, Austin, Thunderfucker, Purple Goop, Zane Powers. Hello, hello. I did hear about the armor from Rust. Sorry, I needed some water. Hello, Jordan Salafalo. Let's just switch. Hello, look at this. It looks all nice tonight. Wearing my regular show shirt. Hanging out with y'all. All right, so this is Movie Crap Live, the movie news live stream movie newsy show that I do. Tonight we're going to do movie news, and I'm going to do Oscar predictions. That's basically what we're doing tonight. There's no other segments. I'll probably stop talking about movie news, let's say around 11:40, take a break, do the Oscar predictions, then questions. And I will rank the top 5, not to be cool, just because I haven't seen Poor Things, although I have a copy, and I haven't seen Maestro. So I'm just going to do the top. Maybe I'll just tell you the 8 that I've seen. But anyway, yes, it's been a cool week. I hope y'all have had a cool week. Getting ready for, it's actually my daughter's birthday's coming up, so we're getting ready for that. And Oscars are coming up, and hope the mic's not too loud. And I don't know, just getting stuff out. This week's been a little just tough with work and everything. That's why there were the ranking, the movie bracket DreamWorks thing was supposed to be on Friday, but I was not going to get out that video. So I was, or a video that day. So I was like, well, let's move things around. So, which I always feel like I have to do. But, it's Jordan Salafalo's birthday week. Happy birthday, Jordan Salafalo. But I know the next video will probably be Anatomy of a Fall, finally. And yeah, I would like to get Henry Sugar out too. And I have some Oscar stuff, and we'll see. Hello, Ace the Wind Rider. I have not gotten a link from you yet. I don't believe so. I did finish the movie bracket this time. Hello, Al Vasquez. I did finish it. The joke of that is just that I'm slow about stuff. Although the DreamWorks movie bracket is weird because they put Spielberg movies in there, which is like, why? It's DreamWorks Animation. Anyway, hello, K-Master. Hello, Steve Meister. So that was weird. But anyway, yeah. And I noticed people were cool about the Pachyderm. People seem to be checking that out, which I noticed that one's getting, when I hear run-ups of the best short things, people are barely mentioning that one, which I think is kind of sad, because I rewatched it when I was getting clips, and I was like, this is really good, actually. Like, I think I like it. That is definitely one, like, it's really dark and stuff, but the more times I've seen it, the more I get out of it. It's anyway, maybe people think it's a little overdone, but I find the way that director communicates very interesting, but obviously various trigger warnings for that. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I want to kill a little time. Hello, a guy named Crystal. That short is power. Thank you. That's true, Cornbread. I want to, Save Fires is coming for me. Sorry, I just want to shoot the shit for a little bit because I started early. Okay. I do like Prince of Egypt. I think I have more fun with Madagascar 3. No, it's okay, Austin, you're cool. So that's basically why I noticed that was the most controversial thing, that I picked Madagascar 3. I do those things quick, but I think Madagascar 3 was kind of a surprise of a thing. So, man, I remember this guy I think I brought him up a few times, and I don't know what happened to him. And his name was like Mr. Google Movie Reviews, and he was always trying to get me to see Madagascar 3, and I think I saw Prometheus instead. And I agree with him about that. Um, that's true. I want to try to get to it, but I do that too much. Hey Jim, I went to a local bakery. What? I don't understand that, but thank you for the super chat. This has been revealed by Cornbread, but it is the sorry, let me get my ghost Sour Patch Kids raspberry. I don't know if I've had this before, but I had to get it because I noticed my local grocery store now has a ghost little fridge. You know how people have, hello Super Dusky, have little fridges for Red Bull. For some reason, Ghost got one at my, so I was like, well, in honor of that, so maybe we'll do more Ghosts. Sometimes I've been getting the energy drinks days in advance, so they're like extra cold. So I put them in the back of the fridge. Well, that was loud. The back of the fridge. That's a real dad trick there. You put your beers in the back of the fridge, your drinks. Anyway, cheers to you, Black Saxon Winkle. Thank you for the first super chat of the night. Very much appreciated. Interesting. Anyway, that's not the ghost you you had before. Oh, it's not. Okay, sorry. I thought it was a joke. You had a donate and a banana cream. Black Saxon Winkle, you're living your best life over there. So Digital Circus, a couple of people asked me about this. Despite I do work for Saber, and I mainly work on research and stuff, but people have been like, about the Digital Circus thing, I have no clue what that is. I've not pursued anything about it. I know he reviewed it, and so like it's a show or something. I don't know. Maybe when the Oscars are over, because I have a lot going with Oscars and kid birthdays and stuff. I think after maybe I will. Should I watch the Digital Circus? But tell me in the comments or in the chat or something. I have another question for the comments though. If you're watching this later, this is mainly for you because you don't get to interact during the show. But if people in the chat just respond in the chat during the thing, what are your Oscar predictions, and or how do you watch the Oscars every year? I'm curious. Like, do you have a tradition? Do you like watch it with your mom? Do you watch it with your uncle? Do you like always sit on the floor? I don't fucking know what you do. That's why I'm curious. So like, what do you do to watch the Oscars every year? Let me know, and you can throw in some predictions there as well. All right, I'm going to try to get to this. They do have the Skittles one. I think I'll run through the rotation. But yeah, okay, so people want me to talk about that. Okay, maybe that can be a short on the post-Oscars movie crap. Oh, got a free Red Bull for tonight's live. You have a free Red Bull? I will probably do Red Bull for the post-Oscars show, because that's like a tradition. You can't not do that. So cheers to you. Thank you, Nathaniel Foga. I don't think I have... Oh. Let's actually look at this well-mannered script that is just bullet points, but I should actually look at for once in my life. Before we get going, if you saw the throwbacks this week, one was Dune Part 1. My review of Dune Part 1 was sort of loose, actually, because I kind of felt like it was like watching half a movie. I didn't like it as much as everybody else. I'm rewatching it sort of at lunch and stuff, and I'm liking it a lot more rewatching it than I did the first time. So, but anyway, if you want to see what I thought of Dune Part 1, before I review Dune Part 2, I'm probably going to see it next week and have a review out later in the week, I hope. I don't know. We'll see. But that was the first throwback. And and a lot of people checked out Alphabet Soup. That was kind of cool that this old clip continues to find. I like that, actually, from the previous week. As well as my next one that's going to be out tomorrow will be Only Lovers Left Alive, which is a great Jim Jarmusch vampire movie from 10 years ago. I'm kind of doing the anniversary ones, but that's the anniversary one that, like, it isn't like a big thing for most people, but for me it is. I've watched it a few times since then, and I really like that movie, actually, with Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton and stuff. It's like a cool a cool vampire movie. Probably one of the cooler vampire movies I've ever seen. So check that out tomorrow, or actually check out Only Lovers Left Alive. Continuing on, let's get into this. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through my Patreon, where you get all sorts of cool exclusive stuff, including the an extra Jodie Foster thing, which will hopefully go up soon. I should mention, like, since last week, I kept getting sick and, like, work was hard and stuff. So I am behind, but I think I'm going to post this on Oscars. I'm going to really work on getting my shit back. Anyway, hello, Javier Portello. Hello. Thank you, Jordan Salafo. I'm glad you watched it. Anyway, hello, Javier Portello. Let's go. All right, sorry. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Patreon, where you can click on the link below and pledge. You can be part of the movie review vote. You're going to get your postcard soon. You get exclusive content, all sorts of cool stuff like that. And it helps support me and helps support the show and put food on the table and all that stuff. As well, you can do the same thing during a super chat during the show. And I will drink this amazing Ghost energy drink, which I was kind of thinking, do they have that energy drink thing because of Ninja? Because he's like the god of all grocery stores? Possibly. I don't know. What happened to him anyway? I never hear about him. I guess Mr. Beast ate him or something. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's a great way to support the Mr. Beast definitely ate Ninja. I could see that happening. That would be a good Mr. Beast video. I don't watch him, really, but I would watch a Mr. Beast video where he just eats Ninja. Anyway, leave a super chat if you would like to help support the show and everything like that. If you're financially able to do so. If you are not, or you're just, I don't know, just like this video. It always helps out. Subscribe. You get things like, you get actual notifications about the throwbacks and when I'm doing streams and all that cool stuff. And you get the videos will definitely show up on your feed. But if you just like watch occasionally and you're like, hey, this guy's cool, I guess. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I always appreciate any support, but just watching is also cool. And thank you for doing so. Also, I have my Discord. If you like the community in this chat, which is a great fucking community, you want, Calico Plus. This is, okay. All right, Calico. That's a very generous super chat. I will answer this right now. First off, cheers to you, Calico Plus. I will get to the Discord. Don't worry. I didn't forget it. Jim, hope you're doing well. Do you have any plans to go to MomoCon this year? Either way, I hope you have a good day. So I actually did sort of get invited. But I haven't pursued those plans, but it was a while ago. And I won't explain that whole thing. But it's just too hard with two kids right now to do something like that, especially at their ages. I would actually really love to. I loved going to MomoCon. I actually do think Nolan and what he did with that convention is why the cartoon community goes to that con. So I feel sort of weird that Pizza Party has sort of abandoned it in a sense because everyone's so busy. Oh, okay. Austin's there. I'll get to you. But anyway, I will not be at MomoCon, but regretfully, but I had an option to go, but I had to say no, basically. So, it's not I don't want anyone to think, oh, he doesn't care or something. It was a decision I thought about a lot because I really, really miss that a lot. Maybe if there's a con in New York at some point, I can do that, but just, it's like a little hard with the littlies right now. But I hope that answers your question, but thank you for asking me. I'm surprised. I didn't think anyone cared, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I was like, well, maybe no one's, but I don't believe I will be going, unfortunately, just because it's too hard. But Austin says, sorry, might not be able to stay around because my internet keeps dropping out, so hope you're great and have a great answer to my Patreon question. I haven't actually read yours yet. I like to savor the silliness, to be honest with you, Austin. But cheers to you. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. Thank you all for your super chat generosity so early in the show. But, and hello, Medela Butterfly. I would love to go with it. I miss Izzy, and I need to talk to her soon. Anyway, this blah blah. If you love the community that is here, no problem, Calico Plus. Thank you for your support, and thank you for asking me, because I would like the truth out there. I don't want anyone. Anyway, I think I explained it. I think we're good. Anyway, this and everything I do is it would be neat more cornbread. That would be cool to have one day. This let's finish. Let's do this. If you like everyone in the chat, they're on my Discord. It's a great community. I would actually say it's Zane Powers and Austin's Discord, because they do such a great job and run it so well. There's all sorts of cool things, like I ask on Movie Crap Live days, not always timely, but I ask what, I'm not great at that, but I do ask before the show what you would like me to talk about. There's the Ask Jim channel, where I try to answer every question in a timely manner. They do movie watches. I don't know which movie watch they're going to do. It's a great community. Cornbread does his thumbnail predictions. Other people can do that too, but Cornbread does it every week. And it's a great community. And if you're ever like, hey, I like this chat, I'd like to hang out with them, but I can never make it to a show, they're there 24 hours a day. You can answer the daily question at 2 a.m. if you want to. No one will stop you. So come and hang out. It's really cool. And it does have cool emojis. I will back that up. And I'm not an emoji person, and I like those emojis, mostly because they have to do with me. But let's move on to the show. That was an epic beginning. I thought we're just going to run through it, and those super chats really made it interesting. Thank you for that, everyone. Y'all really do make the show, I gotta say. All right, so if you didn't hear, we've probably talked about the Jodie from Daria spinoff. King Kong? That's crazy. I actually watched 70s Kong on Pluto the other day while folding laundry, and it's not, I didn't get very, I was just a section of it. It was not great. I was like, this is, you know what, though? If I was going to make a 70s Kong, I was thinking, if you had a Scorsese auteur type as the sort of Jack Black character, I guess is the best way to say it, or the filmmaker character, it could have been really cool, and they fucked up by not fucking with auteur theory. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I could tell about King Kong. Man, I kind of want to... Anyway, Jodie from Daria, we'd heard about the spinoff for a while, and we found out it had been sort of canceled. And at first, based on reports, and this isn't to save my ass, to be honest, because I initially saw it and was like, oh, it was canceled. Like, we've been hearing about this thing forever. It was in development. It looked like it was being written. We knew that. And then a person who animated on it revealed that it was actually finished. And it is actually a completed movie that they are shelving and writing off for tax purposes, presumably. So if you look at those, because I had sort of a thing where Johnny, Mr. Tuccello's, said, hey, this film is finished. And I was like, dude, where are you getting this from? Like, I don't know where are you even getting that from? That's weird. And he was like, no, if you look at this, and he showed me the Twitter, this is all public, you can see it, showed me the Twitter thread, and I was kind of surprised, because that was not in the Deadline report or the Hollywood Reporter report, which I also thought was interesting. Kind of makes me worried about the trades presently, because it feels like the other times these have been reported, whether it be Jeff Snyder, the independent reporter kind of people, they have mentioned it's getting a tax write-up. Whereas everyone else who works for a trade, which is all owned by Penske Media, doesn't. And I think I'm sort of honestly looking personally that I don't love that was happening. I did see one report saying like they had been told production was halted. I'm a little lost on, because her Twitter thread seems to say that it was finished. I'm not saying she's not a reliable source. I actually think she's more reliable than the bigger people at this point. But I do think we don't know what the deal is with that. It was always a weird spinoff, because Jodie, it was a character they was trying to sort of make happen. And I don't think it ever really hit the way they thought. Now, this was a more honest, great attempt than the show did when it was on. And I don't know what that would have been. They spent enough time on it, and I like Tracy Ellis Ross, and I sort of never got like, why don't you just let her have an animated thing? Like, what was the purpose of that? That was always my biggest question with the project. I don't know what that is. So that was always a thing with me. But I think it's sad that supposedly from the anime, the designs were obviously sounded a bit different. It sounded kind of interesting what they're doing. I just am like, if you spent that money, just put it out on Paramount Plus, because Daria is a show that gets watched. And if you're already, I don't know, I hate this let's just shelve thing idea, because it's like you're supposed to stick to your guns on this. Like if someone's writing something, although that sucks for them and they should get a kill fee, I think if you have that many people spending a lot of money and they need that, that doesn't really work out for them. I mean, I think something from her perspective, as people in the chat are bringing up, would be cool. I just want to know like what that is beyond, like, you know, she has strict parents and stuff like that, and like more to her character, because there wasn't a ton in the show. So I always found it like this was a thing even back in the day. MTV was very much pushing her, but I never felt like there was like a huge following beyond that character. I've always sort of questioned that. So if hey, look, by the way, if they got it to work, I would watch it. I was gonna watch it, but you know, didn't work out, unfortunately. So this is yet another tax write-off cartoon, which I think is pretty lame. I think this is pretty pathetic and a sad way we're doing art. And the thing I hate about David Zaslav is that other executives like David Zaslav. Like, I do not understand what they see in him other than, like, he makes board members happy. But, like, this doesn't make anyone happy. You made it. Like, why did you spend this much time on something like this? Like, I don't... The thing that seems to be hurting a lot is films that were just, like... And I mentioned this before on other things... Yeah, actually, okay, I'm sorry. Ramsey R's in the chat brings up something. Is the Beavis and Butthead revival has gotten, like, great notices. Like, I've heard it on industry podcasts when people bring up Paramount Plus. Like, I did that short little video, and I've come back to that show. I like that the revival a lot. That people have talked up Beavis and Butthead. And that's actually a good point. Is, like, I have noticed this as well, even with the Warner Brothers stuff, is, like, with Looney Tunes. Like, Looney Tunes is a great revival. Anyone who sees it loves it. And, like, why not expand the view of Looney Tunes, and then you have this great show with there, and, like, why not expand the universe of Beavis and Butthead when you have Beavis and Butthead at its creative peak right now? Like, was it... I mean, like, I don't think any of these things were that bad, or you could have sold it off to something at a certain point. Like, since it's from a black perspective, could you have sold it to... I don't think... Does Viacom still own BET or not? I'm not sure about that. But you could have sold it there, or another black streaming service. I mean, I don't know how out of control spending-wise it went. But it just, to me, like... I don't know. I think a better Daria spinoff would show Daria now, because one thing when I rewatched the show, Daria, and... I notice a lot of her things are mainly like, a lot of her rants are like incredibly classist and just like really kind of shitty things that, like, when you're a teenager you think is cool to say. And I think looking at it from a perspective of, if you're around my age and it looked like everything was going to be successful for like forever, and the definite generational economic change that had taken on, who would Daria be in 2024 is not the same Daria she would be to an extreme degree, and how that generational change, I think, would actually be interesting. I don't know. I think I think you could do interesting, and maybe Jodie as well. I think Daria would work a little better, but I also do not know what this Jodie script would be, so I'm curious about that. But we'll see. From a dated, greedy eyes of a corporate. I don't know. I hope that they stop doing this shit. And if, you know, obviously that person worked very hard on it, so I'm not going to act like, you know, who knows if it was good or anything like that. But you should be putting out what you make. Like, we're having like a real... I know there is too much content, but we have these kind of like times where there is nothing out, and you could probably just like put it out on a release date where nothing's there. I don't know. I do feel like oftentimes one of the biggest problems with entertainment presently is we have these desert periods, and then we have like everything's all out at once, and it's same with like Iwaju, which my kids like. We watched 3 of. I want to make a short of actually, and I think like that comes out the same weekend as Dune Part 2, as the same weekend as this, the same weekend as that, and it's just like they don't give these times enough things to breathe. And like if you think about it, if you actually release things naturally, like if you released a Jodie series spinoff, like in August time period or something like that, we could really be talking about. It could get a lot of attention because critics don't have anything else to review, much like they did with the Mean Girls thing. So to me, it's like, unless there's like, I don't know, like the nuclear codes are in the middle of the movie or something, I don't really see why you should cancel it, which that would be pretty wild if they did that. But anyway, it's unfortunate. It was unfortunate how it was reported, and we should be more skeptical of a lot of stuff like this. And moving on. So Ken, or Ryan Gosling, is going to be singing I'm Just Ken with 65 male dancers that came out today. I gotta be honest, I think it should be 65 horses. I don't think it'd be 65 male dancers. Ken likes horses. Get 65 horses. We don't need 65 male dancers. We need 65 male horses. It doesn't have to be male horses, just horses. It should be dancing horses. I think that would be better. If you saw 65 dancing horses, you'd be like, whoa, I got to keep watching these Oscars. What if 65 horses come out again? Or more horses? In other kind of quicker news, Vinnie Jones, who played the Juggernaut in X-Men The Last Stand, everybody's, I don't want to say favorite. I don't even want to say worst, because Dark Phoenix and... Oh, man, there's so many bad X-Men movies. Jesus. Whatever. Okay, of the original X-Men trilogy, the worst one, said he was not asked to come back as the Juggernaut. Or he was asked to, but there wasn't enough, or he didn't want to, and they didn't have enough money for the suit and stuff. But he had no mention of I'm the Juggernaut, bitch, which I don't even think people remember that meme of a video, which was just somebody redubbing X-Men the animated series, and some guy going like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. And now I think people just remember him doing it. But it's like, I was like, dude, just like come back and say I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. I think Disney would have paid for it. He claims they wouldn't have or something, but apparently we're not going to get I'm the Juggernaut, bitch in Deadpool and Wolverine. So unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell everyone. All right, so the other thing is the Wild Robot. This was a trailer. It's like an original thing from DreamWorks. It's pretty crazy. It's about a robot who's brought down to Earth. And what we got from the trailer, which almost felt like a little weird short film almost, is the robot basically raising a duck and seeing the duck fly away. It was pretty epic. And there's no dialogue except for a little bit from Lupita Nyong'o, I believe. This is directed by Chris Sanders, who was part of the team of Dean Deblis and Chris Sanders, who directed both Lilo and Stitch and the first How to Train Your Dragon. I think they could... I'm going to say this, and I think it's not too far. I don't think they lived up to this other duo, but I think they were the closest we got to a John Musker and Ron Clements and John Musker. I honestly believe that with their two things. I don't know why they stopped working together. I'm not exactly sure. I think the Croods had some interesting shots. And I didn't see his the one with the wolf, White Fang or whatever, with Harrison Ford, his live action one. But I'm glad he's back to animation. This is probably the most promising trailer he's made. I am glad that DreamWorks is developing original stuff. Although you could say the last couple movies I've watched from them, which would be Ruby Gillman. No, Trolls wasn't, but Ruby Gillman, Orion in the Dark, and this are all very original movies. So I got to give DreamWorks credit, because as much as like everyone's like, oh, Illumination made Migration, or Pixar made Elemental, I would say like Ruby Gillman and Orion in the Dark are pretty great movies. And yeah, I'd say that. And I think DreamWorks is kind of doing stuff that people aren't paying attention to be on. Call of the Wild. See, I didn't even remember. It was a while ago. That was, it's Call of the Wild is in that weird part of 2020 where the pandemic hadn't happened yet. And when I think back on that, I'm like, I think I saw Doolittle and the follow up to Your Name, the director's follow up to Your Name, the same night, and I can't, it's like thinking of that world. What a weird couple months right before, because that is not the rest of the year. Anyway, I'm happy about this trailer a lot. It comes out in the fall, but it looks really great. I'm assuming this is to play before Kung Fu Panda 4, which I'm excited to see with my daughter at some point. But I gotta say, DreamWorks is doing a lot of better work than we're giving them credit for. I think DreamWorks deserves a ton of credit for what they're doing so far. So I'm talking about this away from the other kind of trailer section because it is such a great trailer. I do kind of hope it doesn't have dialogue. I don't think that's the case. And obviously, a robot movie from a major animation studio without dialogue in a major portion of it is a bit of a cliche, but who gives a shit? And that was 2008, so I don't mind if we get one every bunch of years. I remember seeing Doolittle, believe it or not. Boy. Didn't Doolittle one of the highest grossing movies of that year, I believe. So, Robert Downey Jr., still a movie star. We learned Netflix revealed, because of the success of viewing with Avatar The Last Airbender, that they're going to make 2 more seasons. Scott Mendelson, who is one of the best box office reporters going right now, next to Ryan Scott, I would say, if you're asking me who the two are, said that he thought it was just a way to show everyone that, oh, well, it's not that bad, and it did do successfully, and we're just going to, show off how much better we are at this. I don't know about that, but I do think it was a little they do want to show people. People who like these live action things are so indignant about it. It's kind of interesting because I'm like, but why watch that crap? I don't know. To me, it's I have so many things I could watch at any time. If people are like, there's a live action remake, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear about it. And then I wasn't going to talk about this now, but we'll talk about it anyway. We got the news that Twilight's coming back as an animated series. And I got to say, that sounds cool. Even if the design sucks, even if it's a failed experiment, that sounds an awesome idea. I don't think, I don't know. I would honestly, for a long time, I've thought you should take a classic movie like The Godfather or something. You could make it as a show, and the show could be animated. That would actually be really interesting. But I think people would flip the fuck out if that's a pretty big movie to do that with. But I think it's a cool idea. I really, really like it. I really like the Twilight idea. I think that could be a lot of fun. You could make a pretty ridiculous series with that book because it's pretty crazy. What about live action Knock for St. Powers? I mean, we did do. Was it 2 videos? The one there are the one where we're talking on the phone on the before Yes I Love It is probably the closest we got to that because we were really talking on the phone in different places. It took a bit to organize. But Cheers to You, St. Powers. I guess there is technically End Party Song. Those are live action there. But I like the idea of an animated version of live action stuff. I think that's really cool. Let's keep that trend up. 2 more seasons of Avatar. I would like to not watch them for mental health reasons. Maybe I'll watch them as they each season premiere or something and be like, guess what, guys? It still fucking sucks. Whatever the fuck. Fuck this shit. Anyway, we found out today the company Rooster Teeth, which has been owned by Warner Brothers for a little bit, is no more. Warner Brothers is essentially shutting it down and gutting it for selling it off for parts, selling off things like Red vs. Blue, the anime show that Michael B. Jordan is on, and any intellectual property will be sold off to various different companies. I know that I thought this was sad because I was a little surprised because it did have anime, it did have Red vs. Blue and stuff, and you could have done interesting things or just folded it into Adult Swim or something like that. But you know how David Zaslav is. I don't really get why. I don't know. I mean, I sort of get Red vs. Blue, sell it to Paramount because they have the Halo show. That to me makes sense. Sell off some of it, but like just disbanding it. I don't really understand, like, as these companies get bigger and bigger, why take away the IP you have, basically. Like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Maybe they're preparing for something for a sale and they were like, this doesn't work, so you're fucking gone. There have been so many allegations about that company, apparently. So I just think maybe that's it. But I do find it a little odd because, like, most companies are like, oh, we have this, we have that, we have this. And, like, that brand is still sort of a thing. And it's like, I don't know. I do sort of understand selling red versus blue because why wouldn't you want why wouldn't you want that with Paramount? Basically, it doesn't really make any sense. Like, some of those I make sense, but like getting rid of all of it doesn't really. Nathaniel Foga says Monster Trucks the animated series would be fire. I agree with you. That would be amazing. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga. Great suggestion. I mean, and it's also like that's part of internet history, and I don't know. I hope a lot of those things that are sold to other companies find better life in them. But I do think Red vs. Blue, like, that could work really well with Paramount. So I hope that this is just a theory. There's nothing about this, but like, I'm telling you, I think that could really work over there, especially with the. I don't think Halo is the brand it was when that started, but if you're gonna have that brand over there, might as well. Or they could just buy it. Yeah, it is. It is kind of a. It's always a bad week for animation. In good news, the People's Joker, which I'm not sure, is the buzz still on about this? I'm not sure. Apparently, because I know it's going to come to the IFC Center on April 4th, and I do plan to actually see it. But as well as it's going to open. It's going to start in New York, and then it will also screen at Alamo Drafthouse locations nationwide, and it's been booked in theaters in Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, Denver, Colorado, San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, D.C., and more. The full listing for North America can be found at the Altered Innocence website, which is distributing the project. But it sounds like there's going to be, so basically I'm looking at it right now, and so it's starting at the IFC Center from April 5th to the 11th. So Jimmy should get on that shit, basically. And then starting on April 12th, it's going to open in a ton of locations. April 17th, even in Boston, Columbus, Winnipeg. Oh, Winnipeg, for all you Canadians, Nashville. Up until May 8th, it has locations. So if you would like to support this trans coming-of-age story about, right? Isn't it? I believe so. A queer coming of age story. I thought, okay, I apologize. I might be wrong about that. But hello, Frog DVD. Hello. We're talking about The People's Joker. But it's good news for The People's Joker when it premieres. I think it'll get a bigger push. I know a lot of critics are very pro this movie, and I think we'll see. Oh, man, no trading. It's just, I feel bad for Red vs. I'm never the biggest fan, but I do feel like some of the internet history, it's like too young for the old executives to give a shit about. So just like, whatever. Who cares about that? It's like, anyway. But good news for The People's Joker, and if you wanted to see The People's Joker in theaters, you can. I keep hearing about hundreds of beavers, and I think I don't know. It's harder for me just... Everything's tough nowadays, and it's harder for me to see stuff outside of my Regal plan, although I will do it for People's Joker. I don't know if I can do it for hundreds of viewers, so if that comes on demand, I do want to see hundreds of viewers. Keep seeing that. But, you watched... Oh, cool, you watched People's Joker in Sydney. That's awesome. I'm assuming that's what you meant. Anyway, so this is... Well, I'll talk about this one thing. Maxine, which is the end of the X... Pearl trilogy, is coming out on July 4th. Yes, I will review Pearl before this came out. I actually haven't seen it, but I did do X, and then I'll see it before I review it before Maxine. So that's the deal with that. But it's coming out July 4th. We finally have a release date on that. Okay. So there's this thing, and I've noticed it on TikTok, and I noticed people have done this for years because it's fucking obnoxious. Because of the letterbox thing, where like they ask an actor or director, what are your 4 favorite movies and stuff, and because they're people who work in the movies, they have like cinephile type answers, which is honestly pretty standard. It's kind of what happens. And we've seen these TikToks of people. One, you see a guy who's making fun of them, saying like, "Oh, you probably haven't heard of this obscure movie that I'm talking about," and stuff like that. And it's like making fun of actors who are being pretentious and stuff. Which I do sometimes, not always. Actually, I've seen more like realistic. I'm like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense. That person would pick that." But and then there was another person when Austin Butler was asked like, "Hey, what's one of your favorite movies?" He says The Good, Bad, and the Ugly because I like that as a kid. And then it cuts to a guy saying like, "Just say Toy Story, just say Toy Story," and like, I agree with everyone who said that basically it is not cool to basically be like everybody likes the same fucking movie. Shut the fuck up. Um, that isn't really like it's not as cool as people think it is. I've always looked at it as this, and I will side with people who say like I've known people who go too hard into the art movie thing and it can be obnoxious, and I agree with you on that because sometimes I'm like, yeah, but what do you kick back and watch? You watch Criterion stuff, that's how you kick back? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But it's basically like I 100% know every time they had parents who just wanted to watch the new releases and had this really antiquated like fear of anti-intellectualism, anti-cinephilia, anti-discovery. Basically, it is gatekeeping more so than me rolling my eyes that you don't know a Godard or something. It's more gatekeeping than anything, but what you're gatekeeping is far larger, and that's basically what they're doing. They're just regurgitating their parents' shit opinion on movies. Not everyone's parents like had even like a bit of film history. They're just like whatever, that's black and white, it's boring. I don't want to watch it. Everything's boring. People, and they'll say something like people just act like this so they can act like they're cool or smart or something. That's not true. People actually do like older movies, and I will say most of their opinions on that is like from South Park, because South Park you see that, and I, as someone who was a cinephile and into South Park, I never heard that shit until I heard it regurgitated from South Park. And the difference between South Park and you being an idiot on TikTok or YouTube or whatever is Trey Parker and Matt Stone were at film festivals either for Cannibal the Musical or Orgasmo or their own short films. And when they talk about like watching 2 gay cowboys in black and white eat ice cream, they probably saw that movie. So whatever. To me, it's like Trey Parker and Matt Stone can say that because you can tell they know what they're talking about. They might not love the gay cowboy black and white movie eating ice cream thing, but you can tell there's like a reality of I've actually seen this. And when people just like throw off names, and it's always some foreign movie they've made up to make fun of foreign stuff, which is like the boringest joke in the world. What would be funnier if you wanted to do it is someone who hasn't is trying to make, they're going to describe the most basic movie taste in the most pretentious way humanly possible. That would be funny. But it just shows your kind of like ineptitude, and like the fact that so many people are like, you have to pick a Disney movie or you have to pick Star Wars. Like I love Star Wars, and I do think there needs to be let's like big movies and audiences like, but let's also like weird stuff. And like, just like, I don't understand this whole thing of like, I refuse to watch anything newer, older. Like I dealt with a YouTube, sorry if I'm like editorializing, but it actually fucking bugs me. Like I am the person who has like 60 YouTube videos on a classic Hollywood director. Like that's not a joke. And I do like classic cinema. I like silent cinema. There's so many different ways to get into cinema. There's so many different versions of cinema. And the fact that people are just like, I'm just not interested, and I know everything about movies. Like, it's like, get the fuck off. Get away. Like, I don't want you dealing with movies if you're going to be like that. Like, film and art should be about discovery and new ideas. And even, I don't agree with every stupid progressive idea that comes across my eyes, but it's just like you should be able to discover things about cinema. There's so much to discover. I feel like I haven't seen enough still, and I would love to see more. But when people are just like, I just won't. It's like, I don't know. But I did. There was an incident where I was talking to a younger YouTube critic, and it was around the time of Godzilla vs Kong, and I was like, oh, you should, because they're watching the MonsterVerse films. Like, well, you should definitely watch like the original. And they were just like, I don't do that. And I was like, okay. I mean, I lost all respect for them after that point. But they're just like, I don't do that. I don't watch older movies. And it's like, I don't really... The other thing is, if you're going to be a film critic, I understand if you're like, I'm learning, but I want to express my opinions. But in my mind, you should have a sense of film history. And that's something that I've noticed TV critics don't necessarily have, which is like a different argument. But if you want to be a film critic, you should understand film history. You should be engaging with it and messing with your cinematic palette and messing with your ideas. But like, if you are not doing that, and you're just watching the same shit, because how you understood cinema is through your parents who just watch the same shit. Like, the thing is you should not look at, unless your mom is Pauline Kael and your dad is Roger Ebert, you should constantly be reevaluating their opinions on most things. And I know, I've noticed, like, I feel like I could go on about this even, but like, you should always be reassessing opinions you got when you were kids and not just accepting it continuously throughout your adult life. Because what's the point of you having a brain if you're not making up anything original? If you decided everything when you were 5 or 6 or 8, like, what's the point of you even being here? What's the point of you saying anything if I could have heard it 10 years ago? If you haven't changed at all and haven't evolved, that doesn't sound like a very interesting conversation. And I'm sorry you're so committed to being uninteresting that you have to shove it on all of us. But I wish somebody would understand that, like, there is so many interesting ideas. Toy Story is really cool, but there is so much more out there. And the fact that this really started with the good, the bad, and the ugly, like, I don't know. I think some of the TikTok people like movies, but they don't love them, and I can really tell. And I don't think that's something they could ever shake. I get that it's a fad for you, or an interest or a hobby, but for the rest of it, it's a lot more, and I think cinema says a lot more. I'm sorry that you won't let it in. Anyway, sorry. I wanted to do that. Apologies. Are these people better or worse than Doug Walker? You know, okay, I'll say this about Doug Walker, and choose to use name powers. That's a worthy question. I do think Doug Walker comes off a lot as somebody who doesn't really like anything, but at the same time, his video about The Secret of Nim, seeing him like really like something is fascinating, because I do think he likes cinema. I do think he likes stuff, but what he chooses to like is not always what you think. And I do think if he just made videos on things he liked, he'd, for like a month, if he did this, like, I'm just doing movies I like, I often find more interesting things about him than when he hates them, which is what most people like about him. But I will say, when I watched that Secret of Nim video, when I did my review, I was like taken aback. So I would say he is better because he does like movies. He just hides it a lot. But anyway, all right, sorry. Doug does like stuff. I will give him credit. I've seen him do it, and that was a good video. That was a good video. I'm not going to take that away from him. All right, sorry. I know I should have said a jokey thing and said he's dumb or whatever, but fuck that. All right, okay. So Dakota Johnson. Yeah. No, there was one. There was a Daria spin-off. All right, so Dakota Johnson, in case... Look, guys, don't calm down. I know you're going to be shocked. But there's not going to be a Madam Web sequel. I know. Everyone in the chat, calm down. Stop crying. It's okay. Dakota Johnson said, unfortunately, I'm not surprised this has gone down the way it has. It was definitely an experience for me to make that movie. I had never done anything like it before. I probably will never do anything like that again because I don't make sense in that world, and I know now that I know that now. But sometimes in this industry, you sign on to something and it's one thing, and then as you're making it, it becomes a completely different thing, and you're like, wait, what? But it was a real learning experience, and of course, it's not nice to be a part of something that's ripped to shreds. But I get sorry, Cobra, that's funny. Why lie? Anyway, I'm used to being disappointed. I'm webbed out. I wanted the sequel to be called Madam Web and Her Amazing Friends. I do kind of want, if they do another, I know the debate everyone says in Sony and Marvel is Sony wants to make another multiverse thing and Marvel doesn't. I gotta say this, that like I want Madam Web to contractually come back. It would be like the funniest thing in the fucking world. But I do think like she's sort of overcompensating at this point. It's like we all know you didn't like it, but like I feel like she really wants to be like, haha. We're like even Sydney Sweeney on SNL is like making fun of it already. It seems like they all want this new cycle of Madam Web to be over, but I'm like, you were still in it. Like, did you really think though, Madam Web, and you were gonna be in a sequel? And like, I don't. The thing is like, there's no like amazing Madam Web script. Like, let's be for real. Like, I get the S.J. Clarkson thing and people like her, but like, there was no like, how good was that pitch? Like, I love when people are like, no, but you really gotta know what it was like. And I'm like, just say you fucked up. Like, just say, you know what? Yeah, sometimes it don't work out. Like, I don't understand. If it was me, I would just be like, yo, that was a dumb move that I did. I'm a little stupid. Anyway. So the plot of Coyote vs. Acme leaked this week. I'm going to be real with you about something. I didn't read it, and not because I was being lazy. I mean, I'd love to be lazy. That sounds amazing. But I kind of am hoping that it'll get released, and I don't want it to get spoiled. But everybody told me it was a really good plot, and I'll just take their word for it. Because I don't want to read... I don't want to read... I don't agree with the Sydney Sweeney Spider-Woman, because that wasn't as... Everyone was so hyped, and then you saw the design, and you're like, I mean, I guess, I don't know. But, So I didn't read this. If you want to read it, it's on Twitter. Part of me thought about, how about this? We'll take a vote. If you guys want, I will like read it on stream. How about that? If you guys want, I'll read it on stream. I'm going to move on. If there's enough people, if you guys are just like, whatever, you just want to hear about the plot leak. But I will try to read it on stream. Hopefully, I did read Go Dog Go pretty successfully tonight, so feel like I could do a good job. Maybe, I don't know. But hey, cornbreads or Cinera's. I wrote the wrong thing. Cinera's here. Oh, they'll leak it. Ooh, okay. I hope that's real. Anyway, if anybody wanted, okay, I got one. Read it. If I get like a flurry of it, I guess I don't know. I'm not trying to be lame or something, but I don't want to read. It's just more like, is there actually interest? Or people not want to hear it. So I like Ramsey's like poof. All right. I don't know if you heard about this. Is one of the more funnier things. So we learned that in Chile, when they played the original Star Wars films in the early 2000s, for some reason they couldn't have ads, so they cut in ads, and I've noticed a few don't reads. And so if you've seen the clips, it's basically like the part in Star Wars where Obi-Wan's going to show him the lightsaber, and instead it's like, your father left this for you. And then he opens up the case, and it's like a bunch of beers in a cooler, and it's like, Crystal Cervaza, and it's like, and I don't know. I showed it to my wife. She was like, maybe didn't believe it was real. But if you watch other clips of like Obi-Wan doing the shields and then opening it up, and then it's like, you see another Crystal Cerveza thing. I saw one for Empire Strikes Back too. It is amazing. Like, I don't know. I kind of actually sort of love the Crystal Cerveza. I also want Crystal Cerveza. I don't know. Is that a beer? If I find it, I will take a picture of it. But it is, I don't know. Look, I've seen Star Wars. I think we've all seen Star Wars, the original trilogy, probably too many times. And I would like, could someone release an actual cut of like one of the movies, like the full cut of Crystal Cerveza? I would love to see it. I will buy a shirt if I, is this going to be part of Star Wars Celebration? Like don't they have the run of the ice cream makers? Because that one guy, the one guy holds the ice cream maker in Empire Strikes Back. So they should serve Crystal Cerveza at Star Wars Celebration. If I will say, I want to know, there's a great podcast, like the only Star Wars thing I listen to, Hello Blood Rain, or Bloody Rain, and who else? I didn't say hi to Remiku Haruko Shrine. I think I said that right. There's this good podcast called Blast Points, and it is like all the cool, like they will do a whole show on digital projection of Star Wars, or like the episode 2 cut for IMAX and stuff. Like, it is some real dorky shit, but if you like actually want to hear Star Wars stuff, they're my favorite one. And I really want to know if they're going to do a Crystal Cerveza episode. I would love to hear about that. I had never heard about Crystal Cerveza. I don't listen to every Blast Points, but I listen to a lot of them. It's a good show, I gotta say. But I oh my god, I would love to see where. But I love the whole like Crystal Cerveza, and then it's like you hear this guitar going like, oh my god, just put them more in. Amazing. All right, so let's talk about box office. We're running out of time here. Might not get to. I think I know what I'll talk about after this, but let's talk about box office. Dune Part 2 made similar. This is what everyone's telling me. Hold on. Everyone says it made the same as Oppenheimer, which is 82.5 million. Let me check this out. Last year was 2023. I'm going to check this out live. When was Barbenheimer? July 21st. 82.4. Okay. 82.4. And what was Dune? Dune was 82.5. Pretty damn close to Oppenheimer. But that's why I was saying it was an Oppenheimer so hit, and everyone was, because it was very similar to Oppenheimer's opening, which I would agree with. Doing incredibly well, kind of showing how like the first one is. We saw the guy riding his sandworm in an AMC. That was pretty crazy. It seemed people were pretty excited for it. I like that people are back and excited for the movies. Everyone I know who's seen it really, really likes Dune Part 2. So I think I will like to see. I'm watching Dune Part 1 to get excited for Dune Part 2. But that's good for cinema. It's good for the movies. It's good for Denis Villeneuve and the continuing rise of Timothée Chalamet as a movie star. Pretty amazing. Bob Marley, One Love is still number 2, although only made 7 million, is still actually about $200,000 more than than Dune Part 2, being $82.7 million. And then Ordinary Angels, which is some Christian thing that I forgot was, the ads were so long ago, I forgot that what came out, but The Chosen Season 4, Episode 7 and 8 came in at number 4. Oh, Margie Rabbit's here. Came in at number 4, 3 million. Still doing well, and Demon Slayer made another 2 million, up to 15. And The Beekeeper is still holding strong at number 10, and Wonka is actually holding strong at number 8. Believe it or not. So Chalamet's got 2 in the top 10. And the Oscar-nominated shorts document. Okay, so I don't understand, as I'm going through the box office, I do not see any other Oscar-nominated short thing. I see documentary. Are you telling me the documentary category is like killing it right now? I find that to be nonsensical, frankly. Zone of Interest actually went up because it added 200 screens, up to 7 million. Yeah, I don't see the other short categories. I don't think they didn't just not get seen. And at the exact bottom is at 57 with $174 is Inside the Yellow Coconut Shell. A man returns to his hometown where he's haunted by past memories and desires. Wonder what that is. That sounds kind of cool. Bushman, a 2024 re-release. It's a 1964 film getting a re-release. Wow. It's interesting what gets a re-release. And Amelie got a re-release, actually. It's on number 41. And then right under it is Amelie's Children. The fuck is that? Oh, it has nothing to do with that. Amelia's Children. No, it's spelled the same. Amelia's Children. Amelia's Children. Never mind. All right. And then They Shoot the Piano Player, which I would like to see. Anyway. That's what's going on at the box office. Not too much except Dune Part 2 is doing really well. People seem to dig it. And we're all happy about that. All right. We'll talk about a few things and then take a break because Oscar predictions will take a little bit. I'm just going to hit a bunch of things. Disney is and Marvel are making shows for Blu-ray or physical media. Moon Knight, Andor, Captain America Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier, and then Obi-Wan. The big news out of this that actually came from it, there's sort of this rumors, is Obi-Wan Season 1 or a limited series, despite that the fact was initially promoted as a limited series. There was rumors of a Season 2. However, what most people are saying puts the kibosh on this is Obi-Wan is labeled. The other are the complete season or the complete first season or whatever it is, and Obi-Wan was the complete series. So many believe this means there will not be another season for Obi-Wan. I did not think there would be, but that's cool. It seems like I think these make the most sense because Star Wars and Marvel has collectors who will buy this, and I hear people bring up like 4K stuff for Mandalorian. So to me, it's like a pretty easy move there. Aardman is hiring someone from the BBC. It seems like okay, so I want to explain this because this is not just like executive bullshit thing. It seems like from this report, Aardman wants to use more of their IP and do more things with their IP, much like they do with Chicken Run. I have a Chicken Run 2 review shot. I should edit it at some point. But it sounds like they're going to move more into doing things with their IP, meaning Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, things like that. I was a little disappointed, but I was like, I guess this is what the studio is going to be. So it was highly suggested from this report that is what is going to happen. All right, I'll talk about this one story and then do trailers and then do an obit and then hold on. I want to make sure I say this guy's name right for the obit. Okay, sorry. Just because you know how I am. So David Greenbaum, who was the head of Fox Searchlight, has been named the head of... This is another executive thing that means more, so stick with me. I'm sorry. The head of Disney's live action... He was the head of Fox Searchlight and spearheaded all these things, and he was moved up as Sean Bailey left. They brought him in to head Disney's live action division, which Disney's live action division is mostly live action remakes and things like that, not Marvel Star Wars stuff. But apparently in that meeting, he said to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, this was reported, that when he's making a movie, he asked the question, does this movie need to exist? Which was tweeted mostly with pictures of the Disney live action remakes and asking that. What I think this really means is that he's a good executive for original IP, and Disney is not doing great with live action stuff, with their live action division in that department. And he's good at promoting, like, look at the success of Poor Things, look at the success of other things. Searchlight is very good at promoting movies, basically, like the original shit. They don't do IP. And having this guy come in can change the course of that. And that's highly what's been suggested by other reporters, and I agree with. If you're going to get a guy like him, but if they're going to get a guy like him, that's what you have him do. In addition to, he's very good with auteur directors. He's very good with big name talent. if you're going to continue to do live action remakes and you need, you know, Yorgos Lanthimos to do a really weird, I don't know, whatever movie or something, he's the guy who's going to make that happen. So I think, like, in both departments, he could give you a much more interesting rest of this decade if you're lucky. And I sort of get why they promoted him if that's what they intend to do. But the fact that he used the quote, does this movie need to exist? I would honestly say, I don't think any fucking live action remakes need to exist. So I kind of am like, I don't know. I do think the Ariel one sort of worked because I've noticed a lot of people who never go to the movies saw that movie. And I think if you can do that, that's a very positive thing overall. But I do wonder what the future is for Disney. It brings up a lot of things. But the fact that he said, does this movie need to exist? To those guys, I'm sure they went like exist for our shareholders. You know, I'm sure it was something like that. Like, I learned on TikTok, there's like the quote, the customer is always right, is cut off because it's the customer is always right in taste, meaning you do not make fun of a customer's taste, but that does not mean, the quote does not actually mean they're allowed to get away with everything. It just means they're allowed to get away with everything. Like, if they buy something that you think isn't tasteful, you're not supposed to say anything, which I worked in retail, and trust me, you don't. I made a comment, a customer heard me once, and that was a bad move. But yeah, that's a side thing I learned. It's the customer's always right in taste, not the customer's always right. That is not actually, people just cut it off and fucked with it. Which most people do with most quotes. They take it and have it serve what they need it to. Anyway, moving on. Did people know that? Karens would disagree with you. I probably would, but I'm right, at least then. So a couple trailers, only two, that I don't think I've talked about. The Monsters at Work Season 2 actually looks really promising. I've seen a lot of people tweet, like, this looks great compared to Megamind. I think because Pixar was more working on it. But it seems like an actual pretty cool premise, the idea that someone else wants to bring the scares back as they're doing the laugh, as they're trying to get the laugh to work, and someone who was originally trained for scares showing up to work and trying to be laugh and stuff, and how you would fall into that I actually am like more into the season 2 idea than the season 1, so I'm actually kind of curious about that one. As well as the Garfield movie trailer. What I find interesting about this is there's a part in the trailer where someone goes to pick up Chris Pratt, voiced Garfield, and bring him to his dad. I was like, that's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, that's Guardians. That's why Yondu has Chris Pratt's character of Star-Lord. Like, that, we're using the same plot. Like, is this the two Nichols Doofenshmirtz thing? Like, I was like, what's going on with that? So, anyway, I also noticed that on the Superman thing, there was a lot of snow in that image. I didn't talk about this last time. I did bring up the whole Superman thing last time. If you'd like to hear me talk about it, it was in the last show, because we did it on Thursday, and that news broke on a Thursday, and blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, there was snow on it, which to me means Fortress of Solitude. That's what I think it means. It's Fortress of Solitude, very obviously. And it was, I kept hearing, based on the Kingdom Come design, which people are reading into. I think probably it's just that was about, like, being, you know, more an honest, like, true superhero and stuff, and not more than that, but who knows. All right, so I'm gonna do, sorry we're starting these early, obviously. Predictions will be a little longer, so I wanted to leave time for that, and I kind of have to pee, so it works out. So the voice, and a great guy, Mark Dobson, who did the voice of Salacious Crumb. He was a voice actor in Gremlins. He's done a lot of great stuff. But he died this past week, unfortunately. Very sad to hear. Very sad to hear him go. I thought it was pretty, I don't know. It's sad to hear a voice who was in Star Wars and Gremlins, and he gave us so much throughout the years, and he was a very talented voice actor. To have done Salacious Crumb, like, doing that voice I mean, everybody knows that little laugh. Like, most people know that laugh. That's one of the most iconic laughs. He was 64, and the voice of many gremlins and lots of others. So, yeah, very sad. Mark Dodson died this past week. All right, so here's what's going to happen. This will be. I'm going to go through give you all the predictions after I use the bathroom and stuff. I'm not sure if that'll be a separate video or not later. If it is, it won't really have much editing to it, but we'll see. But as of right now, you can at least see me do it live. I'm not sure if people would want to see that just as its own thing or not. Maybe. I don't know. Probably be a day you'll get 2 videos if that happens. But I do think... Vanessa Hudgens is one of the pre-show hosts? Okay. But we'll go through all of the Oscar nominations to help you show people you can predict things. And I'll try to do the animation ones first. Anyway, I need to use the bathroom. I will be back. We'll do Oscar predictions, all that fun stuff right when we get back. Oh, and I have that image because of Ace the Wind Rider. I should have had that set up. There we go. All right. I will be right back after this, and then we'll do some Oscar predictions. And see you soon. Okay. Hold on. Sorry if I was gone for a minute. Hey. Oh, whoa. Hold on. No, I definitely remember you, Margie Rabbit. Don't worry. We have a super chat from Sinram. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Sinram says, did everyone get to see Robot Dreams? Except me. I guess I'll see it in May. Anyway, Sinram, big cheers to you. Thank you for your generosity. Said, saw Robot Dreams tonight. Very funny and awfully sad. Generally excellent. Ending reminded me of a big Oscar movie from the past 10 years. No spoilers. Especially loved the birds. Oh, okay. Interesting. Cool. Thank you very much. Congrats on seeing Robot Dreams. I saw there were some screenings of it. I could never go to it, but I would like to see it. But congrats that you got to see it, Sunram. That sounds really cool. All right. So we're going to talk about. We're going to do. Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of special screenings lately, and I'm not. I wish they just released it. I think that was a stupid move on their part, frankly. I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't understand it. All right, so we're going to go through. Why did I do it in this way? Oh, probably because. All right, we'll talk about. I'm not sure if this will be a separate video later or not. We'll see, but like I was saying before, if it is, it'll be a separate. It won't be the one video of the day or something, but we'll see. It might not happen. It might just be this. And thank you if you scroll down to see it, to see me do this. All right, so best. Let's start with. Let's do best visual effects. Let's do best visual effects. So, best visual effects, we have The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Napoleon. Both Mission Impossible and Godzilla are the first time either of those franchises have been nominated. It seems like any news of Mission Impossible getting nominated this year has gone away. This is basically between two films, which is Godzilla -1, which has a lot of love behind it this year, and a lot of and because the visual effects look so good for so little money. But the same can be true of The Creator, which won a ton of visual effects awards most recently, and also looked good for a film of its budget. And it would also, if you remember, Neil Corbolt, whose son got mad at me because I made fun of him potentially being the biggest loser of Oscar night, because he's nominated 3 times in this category for Napoleon, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and The Creator, but he actually has a chance between The Creator and Godzilla -1, and the Academy liked The Creator a lot. Now, I don't think The Creator will win, actually, but I do think it's cool that this time the Academy nominated, like, of these movies of Best Visual Effects, only Napoleon is really a traditional Oscar movie, and they actually nominated a foreign film, and they're actually using these technical categories to nominate things beyond just their normal thing. And I think they did that much better this year, I will say, of these nominees. But I think it'll be Godzilla -1. I think it is the first time Godzilla's been nominated. It would be Godzilla's first Oscar. This was a film that was generally loved. I do think The Creator is visual effects. I have no problem with it being considered some of the best visual effects of the year. I agree with that, actually. But I do not think there's love for that movie. Like, nobody loves The Creator. They just love the visual effects. And I think what helps Godzilla -1 is you love Godzilla -1. So I think Guardians and Mission Impossible and Napoleon, it's like cool to be here. But it sounds like Neil Corbolt will lose 3 Oscars in one go, and Godzilla will stomp his ass. So I'm sorry for Neil Corbolt being a complete total loser and an already Oscar winner who has millions of dollars and much more successful than me. But he'll lose 3 times on Oscar night. Sorry, I should stop making fun of him. I think it's funny. So moving on, because I know this is the other category a lot of you guys care about, but I'll talk about it early. And I think Godzilla Minus One, apparently there's a thing about it's not in theaters, but it's not on streaming yet, so people are like weirded out that like they can't see it or something. But I'm also like, oh, thank you for being here, Alex Shiref. I was not happy about it. I talked about it early in the show. I don't want to go on about it right now, but I wasn't happy, but I'll say that. So best animated feature, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Robot Dreams, Nimona, Elemental, and The Boy and the Heron. Let's be real, this is between three movies. Despite what anybody wants to go on about, it's basically between Across the Spider-Verse, The Boy and the Heron, and Elemental. Elemental, I think, has a small chance because Academy voters, if they're going to default to something, they'll default to Pixar, but I keep hearing a lot of support for Across the Spider-Verse. What hurts Across the Spider-Verse, not just because the first one won, but because Hayao Miyazaki is probably the last time we're going to get to give him an Oscar, and he would have 2 Best Animated Features, and I think people would like to live in a world where he has 2. And there's going to be another Spider-Verse movie. However, I've heard way more support for the Spider-Verse film. It has Phil Lord, Chris Miller, and Amy Pascal, who people... I don't get the Amy Pascal love, but people really like her. I do think there's sort of more support for the people who made this film. There's been a lot of talk of why was this not nominated for Best Picture, which I agree with. I think there's more love for Spider-Verse. This is the category I had the biggest back and forth with, and I really think it is between these two. But I think like Spider-Verse is kind of the favorite, and I sort of think Spider-Verse is going to take this one. To be perfectly honest with you, I just don't think... although financially it worked out for The Boy and the Heron, I think Spider-Verse, there's just so much love for that film, and it feels like modern animation. I think Boy and the Heron is its own sort of weird thing, and it's not his best, and it's like, I think maybe they're wanting to vote something like that. I really hope it's not Elemental. I think that would be the worst decision of the 5, but people are going to do that, but I'm going to go... My prediction is Across the Spider-Verse. All right, so best editing. Where are we? We're the best film editing. We have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and sorry, click on something I shouldn't. And Poor Things. I'm going to be honest. I think most likely this is Oppenheimer, and I'm going to be saying Oppenheimer a lot, unfortunately, because I think it's going to... I'll clean that up after the show. I think Oppenheimer most likely will win. I think Thelma Shoemaker has won a bunch of times, and I could sort of see Killers of the Flower Moon because that was well edited. The other films like The Holdovers and good night, Cornbread. I guess you're going to bed. Or are you saying good night to someone else? You're saying good night to someone else. Well, either way, you can say that good night for later, I guess. Anyway, but I think Oppenheimer most likely going to win. There's various timelines. Christopher Nolan's films are known for that sort of thing, so it makes sense. I'm going to go with Oppenheimer. It's not my favorite, but some people said Anatomy of the Fall, but I think it's Oppenheimer. Best costume design. This we have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So this and production design, I guess the question is, will they go with Barbie or will they go traditional? I kind of think they're going to split the difference on this. I chose, and I'm saying these together for a reason, but I chose costume design going to Poor Things and production design going to Barbie. I could see it going either way, like the opposite way. I could see them both going to Barbie. I kind of think the Barbie love isn't as there as it was when nominations came out, but I do think Barbie will get a technical award, and so I think Barbie will get production design and Poor Things will get costume design. I could be wrong. They're not categories I have a particular huge amount of knowledge on or anything like that, but that's where I'm going to say is costume design is Poor Things, production design, Barbie. So next up, best makeup and hairstyling. Now this one so this is kind of the funny one, I guess, is because between makeup and hairstyling we have Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Society of the Snow. It's pretty funny that Maestro, after all the stuff about the nose and the Jewish nose and all this stuff, got a nomination for makeup and hairstyling. Is pretty hilarious. And Golda, which similar, although I still think it's funny that was a Fathom event that got nominated. But a lot of people are saying Poor Things because of the various like makeup and what Willem Dafoe apparently is wearing and stuff like that. I'm gonna go with Poor Things because that film has been surging, and I think the only thing it's gonna win is these few weird technical awards. Now, next we have best cinematography. Now this is sort of an interesting one, but it's not because we just know. I don't know. That's a good point. Why isn't Barbie in best makeup and hairstyle? I have no clue. That doesn't make sense. But best cinematography, we do have an interesting thing, although I do think it's sort of a lock, but I'll talk about it. We have El Condon, which is shot by Edward Lockman, who I think this got nominated because he is a Hollywood DP who worked on this weird, like, If This Dictator is a Vampire kind of movie. Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Oppenheimer is shot by Hoyt van Hoytema. He's a very acclaimed DP. He shot Let the Right One In, which is one of my favorite films. He shot for Sam Mendes several times. I believe he shot Spectre, which is not a great movie, but is very well shot. He's done a lot of great cinematography. He hasn't really gotten his time to shine at the Oscars and award shows yet. I think that, in addition to that people really seem to like Oppenheimer for the Oscars, I think he will win. However, I think it should be noted that Rodrigo Prieto, who shot Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm going to click on this to make sure I am right about this guy. A lot of scrolling. Okay. He also shot Barbie this same year. And I think, although he is sort of a guy he's worked with Scorsese a lot, the fact that he did Killers of the Flower Moon and Barbie in the same year, and they both look amazing. I kind of feel like he should have personally just been done a symposium on, like, hey, it's pretty crazy. Like, if we were going to do, like, DPs who had the best year, I would probably give it to him. But I think Hoyt van Hoytema really has this one. I just think, I think this is sort of Oppenheimer. Again, maybe not my personal choice. That's not what this is about. This is predicting the Oscars. I will say the thing about Oscar predictions, maybe I should have introed this better, is that I actually, oftentimes I'm right, but if I was wrong 100% of the time, I would like that more. I don't actually like being right. It's sort of boring. So I hope I'm wrong, but I think Oppenheimer will win best cinematography. So I'm going to go through them all. Best sound. So best sound. This one sadly is obvious, but we have, this is a more interesting category technically. We have The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's still labeled that on here at least. Oppenheimer and The Zone of Interest. It seems to me there's basically like two films that want the people talk about winning this, and it's Zone of Interest and Oppenheimer. I think it most likely will be Oppenheimer. That's just the way it's going to go with this, a lot of the technical ones. However, Zone of Interest is the one I've seen, like, I used to do more sound mixing and stuff, and I've heard more of those people talk about, like, there's been, like, essays about the sound in Zone of Interest. There's a lot of, like, technical, I mean, if you see, I have seen Zone of Interest, I need to shoot a review and stuff, but so much of the story is that you can hear the concentration camp in the background. You never see it, so it's all made through sound. It sounds such a character and part of the story. And I think if you were going to give Zone of Interest another award other than the other one that people think will win, I would honestly think this would be it. And I think it's the only challenger to Oppenheimer. But Oppenheimer made explosions, and it made a big explosion, so that makes sound, but then it didn't make sound, makes you think, what if explosion, not explosion? That makes you think. Whereas, like, dealing with us ignoring a complicated us ignoring like a complicated situation that's in our own backyard, I guess, that too, but explosion be quiet. But yeah, hey Chen Talks Movies, thank you for being here. Sorry it is. Thanks as always for being here. I'll take a swig of Fred. I'm going to take this just also to get my energy up. Sorry, I hope this isn't too boring. Cheers to all of you. All right. Best original score. Here we go again. My brain died for a minute. Best what if thanks Cedric. Best score, I'm also gonna go, well, best original score, we have American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, another John Williams one. Killers of the Flower Moon with Robbie Robertson's final score, who's never won an Oscar. Ludwig von Gorason for Oppenheimer, and Juracine Friedrichs for Poor Things. I don't understand how there's not more support for the Robbie Robertson score, because he's passed on and he didn't win an Oscar, and you could do that in the end. I really don't understand that one, because it's like, how did you not do that? And I agree, why isn't Spider-Verse in here? Ramsey noticed, I agree with that. But to me, it's like, it's weird. And why John Williams again? Like, do we need to keep nominating? Like, I love John Williams, but like, for that, I don't know. I didn't see Dial of Destiny, but it seems like whatever. I think, and the American Fiction score, although it's kind of like basic jazz stuff, I sort of get it. It's at least a little different. But I think most likely it'll be Ludwig Göransson, who I believe also doesn't he do the score of he helped with This Is America. Oh, he has a lot of awards. He didn't he do the, am I wrong? Didn't he do yeah, he did The Mandalorian. Okay. I thought he did. Yeah, he did The Mandalorian. Yeah, he doesn't really need it. I feel like we're gonna get him winning, but I wish it was Robbie Robertson. Like, give it to that guy. What the fuck? It's stupid. Anyway, thank you, Mandela Butterfly. Appreciate your super chat. Drink some for you. Cheers to you. All right. Best original song. Again, I'm not super happy with what's probably going to win here. But we have What Was I Made For from Barbie from Billie Eilish. We have Wachitasi, A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon. It Never Went Away from American Symphony, which is a different kind of, for John Batiste, who, some of these people just get awards a lot. I'm Just Ken from Barbie, and The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot. I do not get The Fire Inside and their Diane Warren thing. Like, whatever's with that. I think it's cool that Killers of the Flower Moon song got in there. But basically, I think in most eyes between the two Barbie songs, most people think What I Was Made For is going to win, which won at the Grammys. It's good in the context of the movie. I don't really get all of the hype behind Billie Eilish. I don't hate her. I'm just like, I feel like we've gone a little bit far on the awards things with her. I would kind of, if I was going to pick between these, I'd pick I'm Just Ken. I think that's going to be what we're going to be talking about at after the Oscars. But I think it's probably going to be What I Was Made For from Barbie. This will be one of, I think it's Barbie's only like definite going to win, but I think Barbie will at least walk up with a few, and this will be one of them. And I don't know, people really like that song, good for them, I guess, but I think it should be I'm Just Ken. I'm surprised Metro Booming didn't get in there. I'm surprised a lot of stuff didn't get in there, but we have what we have, and I wouldn't mind the Dua Lipa song in here, but I'm Just Ken I wish would win, but I think it'll be What I Was Made For, but Barbie wins either way. In the short categories, I basically have no clue, but I'll just go through and talk about what I've seen of them for something. For Best Animated Short, I've only seen, which both these reviews are out as separate videos, but 95 Senses, which is directed by Jared and Joshua Hess, who worked on Napoleon Dynamite, and Pachyderm. If I was going to pick between them, I think they're both really good shorts. I haven't seen Letters of a Pig or Our Uniform, which apparently is all animated on clothes. It sounds really cool. But I've heard a lot of support for War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. It seems like that's the odds-on favorite. Good for them. Good for them. Thoughts on Olivia Rodrigo's song for Hunger Games? I actually don't know. I didn't see that movie, so I don't actually know that song. But I do like her in general, so if it's like her other stuff, maybe. In Best Live Action Short Film, I did not see The After, which is on Netflix, and I should. But I did see The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. There's actually some controversy that Wes Anderson should not be using this category to win an Oscar because it's made for smaller filmmakers to get their foot in the door and stuff, and not Wes Anderson to finally get an Oscar. And that he basically made the film right under the cutoff and stuff like that. I don't know about all that. I do think it's sort of a trifle of a movie, and it seems like the rest of these are The After, Invincible, King of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue mean a little bit more. I don't know. But I think Wes Anderson, I think most people are just going to be this an excuse for him to win, to be honest with you. It seems he's most people's choice. Best Documentary Short, I did not see. I think it's The Last Repair Shop is on Disney Plus. I haven't watched that, but I did watch the ABCs of Book Burning. It was good, and I like them interviewing the kids and stuff like that. I sort of wish, I don't love documentaries and commercials where they just like purposely interview certain people to get the response that they want, and I find it would be a little more interesting if they actually interviewed some kids who are like, I don't know, I agree with the books being banned and stuff like that. I would have actually liked that, but I also think the film worked pretty well within what it was doing and what it was saying, and I don't know if that would have worked. But I have my issues with sort of like manufactured settings like that, where they have a bunch of people just sort of give you the answer you want. I have it. That's just a personal thing, but I do agree with like, I don't think books should be banned and stuff like that. And they mentioned an Eric Carle book, which I need to look up and reserve because I'd never heard of it. Yeah, so that's what I think. I don't know which one's going to win. A lot of people say Nana and Wapu, so maybe. We'll see. Best Documentary Feature, I have not seen any of these. People seem to say 20 Days in Mariupol because that is about the Ukraine, what's going on with Ukraine. Why not? I haven't seen that one. Best International Feature, we have Lo Capitano, from Italy, Perfect Days from Japan, Society of the Snow from Spain, which is the Jay Buena thing, which I shot a review for and should edit at some point, the Teacher's Lounge from Germany, and Zone of Interest from United Kingdom. I think it is pretty much Zone of Interest. It's going to win. That's, Anatomy of a Fall, which is another foreign film, which is nominated for Best Director and Picture. It is not in this category. If it was, I would say that. But it didn't get those things. But Zone of Interest also is nominated for Best Director and Best Picture. That's pretty much what usually happens is Zone of Interest. I think this is the one that will definitely win. It'd be cool if it won Best Sound in this, but I think it'll definitely win Best International Feature, although it's odd for an international feature to be from United Kingdom, but it is actually in a different language, so whatever. But most likely Zone of Interest is going to be winning that. All right. Now let's work. We've gotten through all the boring ones, the ones that will help you if you do an Oscar pool at your office with your friends. Those will help you there in case you're like, I have no clue. These are the biggies, the big ones. Some of these are a little more harder to figure out than others. But we'll start with Best Adapted. Best Adapted is a lot harder than Best Original, and you'll understand when I read them off right now. Best Adapted, we have American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. These are pretty heavy hitters in terms of this award season. But I think the thing with this is, how many are they going to let Christopher Nolan have? I think that's kind of the thing. But I also think it's really between three at this point. We're between American Fiction, Barbie, and Oppenheimer. And I've seen people pick each one. I'm actually going to go with Barbie because Greta Gerwig doesn't have an Oscar. Every one of her films she's directed has gotten a Best Picture nomination. There's a lot of love for her. There was kind of a backlash to Barbie not getting certain nominations. You can get Greta Gerwig her Oscar. I don't think Noah Baumbach doesn't have one, right? I think I can understand if this just goes to Christopher Nolan and we just see Christopher Nolan win. But I do sort of think it's like this was the year of Barbenheimer, both of them, and it'd be a good way if you're gonna just like. I do sort of agree with the thing that like the Oscars will suddenly go, oh, we'll give you this and give this one this and stuff like that. And I think it would be a good show of support. And it was like a great adaptation of using. I mean, there was a debate over should this be original or should this be, oh, hey, Will, how's it going? Should this be original or should this be adapted? And what is it adapting? It's basically adapting the paragraph on the back of a Barbie box and advertising. But I would say if you're going to do who adapted the material the best, I would say it's Barbie because that's a wholly feeling original way to adapt something, especially adapt stuff that's just propaganda for selling plastic toys. So I actually think you could make a case for it. But if they're going to go Oppenheimer crazy, you could go with Oppenheimer. But I'm going to go with Barbie because I think at a certain point they're going to be like, Oppenheimer was cool, but let's like, I feel like the Academy doesn't like to just like circle in the same thing all the time. They do a lot, and if Oppenheimer comes, I wouldn't be that surprised. But I actually sort of think it'll be Barbie in this one. All right, so best. Okay, I did see you saw Robot Dreams. Okay, cool. Well, that's interesting. Will, I'm curious. Will, if you could put how you would rank. As you are one of the few, and Sinram, you can do this as well if you have seen them all. I'm not sure if Sinram has. I don't want to speak for him, but Will, if you could rank the best animated features, I would actually love to see that. If you don't mind, you don't have to, either in the comments or in the chat. It's up to you, Will. But I'd be curious what you thought. Best original screenplay, and this one, since Oppenheimer and Poor Things and all the big ones aren't in, this is a little interesting. You have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives. Now, if it was up to me, I would actually go with Past Lives. But it's not up to me. I think it's really between The Holdovers and Anatomy of a Fall. I think The Holdovers would have won if Alexander Payne was nominated. If you saw my review, I brought this up, but so I'm sorry to regurgitate this. But The Holdovers, basically how the script worked is Alexander Payne asks David Hemmingson, who Alexander Payne didn't, I don't think, get nominated actually, he's a producer, but he didn't get a screenplay because he asked him he came up with the general concept, but he didn't write the movie. This other guy did. I actually think it is a really strong screenplay, and I would put that, but I also think May December is a great screenplay, but I think it'll be Anatomy of Fall. There's a lot of support for that one. It won't get an international feature. I do sort of think it's between Anatomy of Fall and The Holdovers. I don't think Maestro has a chance, or Past Lives, unfortunately. I think it's between those two, but I think Anatomy of Fall, there's a lot of love for that one, and people really like that screenplay, and it's I think this is its chance. And Justine Triet, who is nominated for Best Director, is nominated here. You can give her an Oscar. So I think that'll happen. I don't think The Holdovers is going to win something, but we're about to get to that. But I'm going to go with Anatomy of a Fall on that one. So Best Supporting Actor. I'm sure you're surprised. Best Supporting Actor. I really do like The Holdovers. I'm gonna do a ranking. I need to hurry up. Best Supporting Actor. We have Sterling K. Brown, Robert De Niro from Sterling K. Brown from American Fiction, Robert De Niro from Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling from Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo from Poor Things. I would say it's just Robert Downey Jr.'s to win. I do think Robert De Niro gave a good performance, as most people do. And I think Sterling K. Brown is typically good, although the dialogue wasn't great. But I do think he, I think we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see him nominated again. But I think this is Robert Downey Jr.'s to lose. He's won literally everything, and yeah. I mostly agree with your rankings. I would probably switch Nimona and Element. Yeah, I'll just agree with you. I mean, except for Road Dreams, I haven't seen. But Best Supporting Actress, most of the big categories are less interesting, I will say. Best Supporting Actress, you have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, American Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I think this is Divine Joy Randolph's as well. I don't think there's anyone really challenging this whatsoever. There's not much to say about that. Best Actress is a little more contentious, but I sort of see it going who you think it will be. We have Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller from Anatomy of Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, who you probably forgot was nominated, to be honest with you, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. This seems to have really become between three people, which is Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone, and Sandra Huller. Some people think Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone will split the vote and Sandra Huller will win, and she's in 2 Best Picture nominees, so I sort of understand. But I think there's so much support for Lily Gladstone. This is probably the only thing Killers of the Flower Moon has any chance at winning. There's been so much support for her. With actors, especially this year, it feels like a coronation. I think they should give it to her. She's an indie film actress. Let's push her through. Emma Stone already has one. It's mainly what the film was about, was her community being destroyed. There's so much of it is about her. It was a fairly substantial performance. I think they like doing new ingenues. I think there's too much in Lily Gladstone's favor to not. I sort of get the Sandra Huller thing because there's been so much support for her, and the international crowd loves her, particularly people who vote for the Academy. But I think it'll be Lily Gladstone. All right, so Best Actor. This one I can understand. It's probably also, the leads are a little more interesting than supporting this year, which is interesting. It doesn't always happen. But Best Actor, we have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I really think it's between Giamatti and Cillian Murphy. I liked Paul Giamatti more, and I would be much happier if he won, but I think it's going to be Cillian Murphy, and we're going to see a lot of Oppenheimer, unfortunately. But I do think it'll be Cillian Murphy over Paul Giamatti. I think Paul Giamatti gave a better performance. I think he's a better actor. I think he deserves that support. But I think Cillian Murphy, it just feels like it's a no-brainer at this point. He's won too much and all the indicators, things like that. So, Best Director. Best Director, we have Justine Triet, Martin Scorsese, oldest and most nominated director ever, Christopher Nolan, Yorgos Lanthimos, and Jonathan Glazer. This is Christopher Nolan's. I don't see it going any other way. I think it is Best Director for Christopher Nolan. He is going to win. There's nothing. I don't see it going any other way. I would have just given Scorsese a second one. Why not? You should have done it for Raging Bull anyway. But I'm going to say it is Christopher Nolan. So Best Picture. Wow, this is going a little long. I'm sorry. We have American Fiction, Anatomy of Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. I think it's just Oppenheimer. A couple people have suggested it should actually be a tie between Barbie and Oppenheimer and let Barbenheimer win Best Picture, like have the first ever tie. I think the way the preferential ballots work, that would never happen. But wouldn't that be cool? I think it would be cool. I've heard a lot of support for Zone of Interest. I don't see that being a big movie like Oppenheimer, but that'd be cool, to be honest. I think that would be cool. So I think we're going to see a lot of Oppenheimer. So if you're like, oh, damn it. Before we get to questions, I will list off my. We might go a little over because I am taking too long. But all right, here we go. Sorry. So I haven't seen all the best pictures, but here's how I'd rank them from top to. Oh, okay, never mind. Cornbread doesn't like that there'd be a tie. I think it'd be cool. I will rank how I feel are the best of the best picture nominees. You can disagree with me. For first, if I were to pick, I guess I would pick Past Lives. I think that's the best of the best picture nominees. Second, I would put Killers of the Flower Moon. Third, The Holdovers. Fourth, Zone of Interest. And fifth, Barbie. After that, I guess I'd go Oppenheimer, American Fiction, and then Anatomy of a Fall, to be honest with you. So I haven't seen Maestro and I haven't seen Poor Things, so they don't count. But that's how I'd rank it if you were wondering. But I don't know. I'm sort of just like, let's let Christopher Nolan get his best director. Let's move on. We don't have to hear about it anymore. That's sort of what I am about that one. Anyway, I'm going to drink some of this. We're going to do the Patreon questions. We'll put questions below. All right. So first up, we have Sinram, who said, has there been a film that you managed to see, but then it pretty much disappeared and hasn't been available on any platform since then? I mean, I guess The Willow Show, to be honest with you. I don't know if maybe like Idiots and Angels by Bill Plimpton. That would be one that like I saw and then like wasn't very available for very long, and that's probably one that's gone around. I saw the Rolling Stones movie Cocksucker Blues, which I review. I think that would be one of them as well that I've seen, and it's like disappears from consciousness and comes back, and like people will watch the review and then they won't. That's like that would be one of them too. So oh man, Jordan Richard, I have a cool story for that one. Nathaniel Foggy, is there any other popcorn bucket we consider as wild as the Dune 2 one? The Slimer one for Ghostbusters where he's throwing out popcorn, I would consider that one. I'd probably just go with that one. I think that's the wildest one I've seen. Jordan Richard, this is a scary one, I guess, has said, have you ever seen any UFOs or ghosts, or do you have any friends or families that have? I've heard ghost stories from people. I'll tell you one. When I was shooting, I always have to shoot late because kids and stuff. I have a camera here where I record from my computer over here that I record audio from, but there's a camera, and I have the camera that's here. It's usually my phone. And when the camera was here, I kept seeing like someone behind me, and like obviously no one could be behind me without me knowing it's a corner. And I kept like in the corner of my eye, and it kept like making me stop. And I reviewed the footage several times, and I never saw anyone. It was just like my mind playing tricks on me because I was tired or something. But that's my only sort of ghost thing. And I went over the footage a couple times. I was like, maybe this time. And I never, because I stopped and like looked behind me and stuff. So if somebody pops out while we're doing this, that'd be crazy. I hope it doesn't, though. It'd make me shit my pants or something. Anyway, Austin said, hey, Jim. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Here we go. I do like these. I do. That's why I was saving for last. They're a good ender for the Patreon questions. Said, hey, Jim. What a great show. Hopefully you're well, and so is your Dark City DVD. Hopefully I'm still there, and I might have fallen asleep because I got to wake up early to work on the show that I bet you know the name of. My question is for you. Do you have any suggestions for a 2024 Oscar drinking game for a friend? So my only ones are for the slap reference, and that's a good one actually, because there'll be a couple, and the La La Land incident reference. How it works is you take a sip every time or drink every time that thing happens. You could actually drinking game every time Oppenheimer wins, or every time they mention, I'd say Oppenheimer, or make a reference to Netflix. I'd go with that one. I go with that one. So, all right, let's go up to the questions. I'm going to try to answer a good portion of these. We've done okay. But Frog DVD, thank you for getting here on time. I know you're having problems possibly, but have you seen The Curse on Paramount Plus? Nathaniel Foga and Benny Safdie making an A24 show with Emma Stone. I would very highly recommend it. It is incredibly dark and weird. I have not, because I have to get a Showtime add-on, but I could probably get it. I could probably like actually put some effort in. I would like to see it. Actually, it seems cool. I should, but thank you for the recommendation. You're not the first. I don't think you'll be the last, but I should at some point. Zane Powers says, "Did Brownface die with the Lone Ranger?" I would hope so, but I feel like someone will do it again. But man, I keep hearing they want Johnny Depp to come back for Pirates, and I really hope. Guy needs to move on. All right. Cornbread says, "I keep seeing variations of the same tweet that says these are the movies of the 2020s so far with Avatar 2, Top Gun 2, Oppenheimer, The Batman. Is Barbie not being listed problematic?" 2020s have already shaped it to be a weird decade. I would actually put Barbie on there, but if I wouldn't put the Batman, I don't think the Batman's as evident as that. It's just a hit, I think. And I wouldn't even put Avatar 2. I don't know. The 2020s, I don't know if you'd have to pick films that actually started cinematic trends and change things, and I don't think the decade's old enough to know that. I sort of think like that's like big Hollywood maybe. But yeah, if you're going to do big Hollywood, what are the big Hollywood movies of the 2020s? I would put Barbie in there. I don't think Batman works because this has been the decade that so far the superhero movies really haven't worked out as well. So I don't really agree with the Batman, but I have seen that. I'm not objecting to what you said there, but I don't think it's problematic, but I think it is not accurately depicting black person in the 2020s. Black Saxon Wheel, do you like donuts? And if so, what is your favorite? I do like donuts. I try not to have them too much. And I would say Boston creams, to be honest with you. Zane Powers of Maestro is so lame. How come Wikipedia says it's got good reviews and mentions all its nominations? Hey, smart guy. I haven't seen Maestro. To be clear, that was funny, Zane Powers. I like that. Wait, is Zane Powers Bradley Cooper? That would be an amazing twist. If Zane Powers this whole time is hanging out in the Discord. All right, Mako Wacko, I think. Thank you for being here, by the way. Have you heard of the book series called Wings of Fire? I think I have. Hold on. I'm gonna Wings of Fire novel series. I just want to see the cover. I have heard of this. Yes, wasn't it a show at one point? I don't know. I have heard of it. I have not read it, but I have heard of it. Not plausible. Why didn't Nolan include the Best Manhattan Project quote, "Now we are all sons of bitches"? I don't know. Is that true? I didn't hear that one. Black Saxon, have you seen the movie The Man Who Killed Hitler and then The Bigfoot, and it has Sam Elliott? No, I haven't. That sounds amazing, though. Nathaniel Foka, favorite Jerry Bruckheimer movie? I guess Top Gun 2, to be honest with you. That might actually be it. Just off the top of my head, I think. Frog DVD. Do you stand by your statement that Clerks the Animated Series is the American Fooly Cooly? That's what got me into the Clerks cartoon, LOL. Did I say that? I don't know if I said that, but I would say, yeah, maybe. Sure. Why not? I'll stand by that to a point. Cornbread asks, oh, damn it. I wish I don't know why the scroll in YouTube, so it's always weird. Okay, hold on. Where? Okay. Question: is the Willy Wonka scam a thing blessing for Warriors now that they have a plot to announce for a Wonka sequel they already announced? Maybe. That would be interesting if it's in there. Zane Powers, remember that time on Pizza Party when, at the height of Drama Alert, not knowing anything about it, Penn was asking if they should have Keemstar on the show? Do you wish that happened? No, I don't ever want to meet Keemstar. Zane Powers, are you a gooner? I guess a goner. I hope not. Margie Rabbit says, what's your current opinion on big budget action movies nowadays? I feel like they haven't had the same hit, the same feel anymore. I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen the right ones. I would say John Wick has brought them back. But I don't think there's as many smaller ones right now. I think a lot of it's gone to VOD and it's hard to like track that. So I agree with you to a degree, I guess. Xenophobia says, how does it feel knowing Monster Trucks is 3 years away from being a decade old? That's true, and it's surprising. Cornbread said, is the Oscars happening on March 10th day a cruel joke because Peaches won't be played and it wasn't nominated for an Oscar? Yeah, I guess that is not plausible. Do you believe any cryptopids, corner crawlers, Bigfoot? Oh, maybe. I'm sure there's a Bigfoot, probably. Austin's on R.I.P. Austin. Oh, because he's tired. Okay, sorry. Did you know that Doug Walker made a joke in his video assuming that his audience would have no idea who Mickey Rooney was and made him realize he was citing his role in Care Bears? Didn't know that. That's weird. Should they ever make a Dark City rival? No. From the focus, sorry. St. Powers asked, when will Brent Singer make his comeback? I hope never. Question, is there a movie you couldn't review because you couldn't think of anything to say, neither positive? Not really. Sometimes it's like I don't have the time to really get into it, so it's more of a time issue. What will you be drinking on your Oscars watch this year? Reaction, I'll probably do Red Bull in a champagne glass, but I'll probably just have some beers while I'm watching it. Ramsey Arias, did you have exposure to Rooster Teeth before the shutdown announcement? If so, how? Red vs. Blue. Everybody watched that back in the day. Top 3 movies. I have obviously thought of Letterboxd thing, and I would say if I was gonna do it, I know my top 3 would be Jaws, Pink Flamingos, and Public Enemy, the 30s one. Those would be my 3. If I was gonna do Letterboxd, I would pick those. How would you say the 2020s have been so far? I don't know. Been okay. If Oppenheimer is so good, why didn't they make an Oppenheimer 2? That's a good point. All right, let me do... Cineram says, could Richard Linklater and company have successfully argued that the before sequel scripts were not adaptations if they wrote all 3 at once and then copywritten them in reverse? I guess they could. Thank you, Frog DVD. Austin's here. I came back before I went to bed. So what's the name of the show on PBS that I work on that starts... Hold on. I wrote it down. Carl the Collector. So there you go. All right. I'll do one more. I'll pick someone who didn't. Ace the Wind Rider, you get the last question. Said, if you're considering watching Digital Circus, would you consider ENA? It's really surreal, unique style, and it happens to feature yours truly. It really is a trip to be experienced. I will send me that. And also send me your link. You never sent me that. So do those things. Anyway, all right. I think that is it. Green Book or Crash? Nathaniel Fogel. Oh, chaos. All right. I think that is it. Good night to all of you. I believe there'll be an Oscar reaction on Monday. I'll figure out the time and all that later. I'll probably be tweeting during the Oscars, but I believe Anatomy of Fall review will be tomorrow. There will not be a premiere because, again, the spoiler stuff. And it'll probably be all sorts of videos I have planned and I'm excited for, particularly the video Saturday night. I think that one will be cool. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you to everyone who gave a super chat. It's always appreciated. And I really appreciate all your generosity and things like that. Sorry if the Oscar predictions and this went on a little bit. But thank you everyone who made it to the stream. Everyone new. That's cool too. Comment below what your predictions will be and how you are watching the Oscars. And I'll see you all next time. Subscribe if you would like to. And have a good night. All right. Peace.